Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. And we're going to have fun tonight. I have two guests I've never had on the show before. One of them I met probably right before the show started, and one I have been knowing him for a while, and I've seen him in action, but I've never had the chance to interview him. So we're gonna have a good time tonight. And so I want you guys to just vibe with us. Thank you so much for being a part of the Horizons Author Lounge experience. Um, for those of you who are new to the show, because you may have subscribed at the Philadelphia Independent Authors Fair or at the National Book Club Conference, or even some of you may have signed up in Indiana. I just want to thank you for your support. And thank you for joining me tonight. And I really hope you have a great time. Well, I already know you're going to have a great time because we always have a great show. But without any further ado, I'm going to bring on my very first guest for tonight. His name is Dr. Scott Eveloff, and he is a debut author, and this is his first podcast. So we're going to make him welcome. So everybody help me to welcome Dr. Scott Eveloff. Hello.
Hi there, Dr. Rhonda. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I'm glad to have you tonight. So first of all, before we jump into the book, you've got to tell everybody, who is Dr. Scott Eveloff?
Well, I've been a physician for greater than 30 years out here in the Midwest. Actually recently retired in January, so I'm living the life of an author now alone, doctoring scripts instead of doctoring patients. But as you can imagine, being a physician for 30 years, it's provided fertile ground for a lot of mysteries, a lot of thrillers. And for me, the topics and the subjects just went on. And because I've also become a pretty fierce advocate for the disabled and for patient rights, I wanted to incorporate that into my writing. And so that's what both my nonfiction and my fiction writing has entailed.
Wow. So, I mean, I'm guessing because you're a doctor, but what was it that spurred you to become an advocate?
Couple things. The main one is my son was born with congenital muscular dystrophy, and he had to overcome a lot of obstacles, and being on both sides of the white coat made me look at my own profession a little more skeptically. And due to his life and also how I've seen patients treated during the course of my medical career, I think both the disabled and patients deserve a lot more credit and dignity than they tend to get. So that's why I've become an advocate for both.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I think you're so right. I think what I've also learned over the years is that not all disabilities are apparent. There are some people who may look like they're walking just like everybody else, or they're talking like everybody else, but they're struggling within. There are some wounds that you just can't see on the outside.
Absolutely. Whether it's emotional disability, cognitive disability, or physical disability, yeah, they all deserve a little more than they get. And I think it becomes especially problematic in those people that you just described. But they all deserve our consideration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you said your fiction and your nonfiction. So the book we're going to be talking about tonight is fiction, I believe. But so what kind of nonfiction have you written?
Well, I've published 24 separate articles in the medical literature.
Wow.
I was an academic physician at one time. And then in 2001, I actually published a book about my son's first 3 years called Both Sides of the White Coat. So that entails my nonfiction publishing.
I love the title, Both Sides of the White Coat. And I'm guessing you mean as a doctor as well as a patient or a family member.
Correct. In my case, as a doctor and the father of someone. But yes, I saw it from both sides, and there were both good surprises and bad surprises. I'll put it that way.
So what is something that, because I know a lot of people, I don't want to say complain, but some of the concerns that many people have when it comes to the medical profession is that they feel that they're being rushed through. That if they don't come with a list of questions, their concerns are not going to get addressed. But what is something that people don't realize about being a medical professional and maybe having to get through so many patients each day?
Well, first of all, I agree. I think a lot of people are rushed through. Unfortunately, however, a lot of doctors these days are at the mercy of their employer, which could be a hospital, which can be a large healthcare conglomerate. So, yeah, they do have to rush through. And that's been one of my pet peeves, although I don't blame the doctors for it. I will say that the hospital I worked at, it was in a rural area. They allowed me to practice as I wanted to, and I could give
That's good.
patients the time I wanted. But I feel for patients who are rushed through, and I feel for the doctors who have to rush through them due to their own considerations. It's just not a healthy atmosphere.
And many people say, well, you have to come with your questions before, when you're going to the doctor's office to write down your list of questions. But sometimes we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we should ask.
You're right. And hopefully the questions you do come with will then spur your physician to fill in the blanks even more than you're aware. So yeah, come with your questions and just hope that you have enough time to let everything get fleshed out, which is not always a given.
Yes, I can see how being a medical professional can be pretty challenging then.
It's a little stressful, a lot stressful. I'm glad I'm retired.
Well, you said you're retired, but is that when you decided to get into your fiction writing, or was fiction kind of a way to release from all of the stress?
You hit it exactly right. I've
Hmm.
been at this for years, as probably most of the authors you interview. I've had rejections and revisions and more rejections, but literally I've been writing for 20 years, but both as therapy for coping with my son's condition and also as therapy for the stresses of my profession. That's how I got into writing. And honestly, when you write fiction, you can create your own world. You have control
Yeah.
over it. Maybe that's something else I was looking for, a little bit of control over a world.
Yeah, I think that's for me. I call it the what if factor. I'm a fiction writer myself. I love writing fiction because I can ask myself, what if this happened or what if that happened? And then I can write an entire story around it. But you're right that fiction authors are often world builders. We're life creators. We can kind of make a world the way we want it to be or the
That's
way we
exactly
feel
right.
it.
Yep, that's exactly right. You have control. Things can happen as you want them to happen. And if you don't have control over your real life, it helps a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. So, tell me about your current book, which is, as you said, your first fiction novel.
Right. It's called Do Not Resuscitate. And it's a medical mystery, but with a strong supernatural theme, which sort of separates it out from books like from Robin Cook. If a good description would be if the movie Ghost met the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and they had a
Wow.
baby. That's what my book is about. As a physician, I'm pretty acutely aware of medical errors. There's
Oh,
thousands of people who are subjected to medical errors every year. And so I got to thinking, what if some of those medical errors looked like medical errors, but they were really done on purpose? So patients were being killed, but it was being written up to physician incompetence or unfortunate medical errors.
wow.
And I coupled that with my experience of being overnight in hospitals, whether in the ICU or as a father with my son. There's nothing spookier than being in a hospital overnight with the empty halls and with people moaning in their rooms, and then in the ICU where death and dying is pretty common. So I combined the spookiness of the hospital with the idea of, could medical errors really not be medical errors? And that's how I came up with the plot of my book, Do Not Resuscitate.
What would you say it's because it sounds a bit like Like a suspense-filled novel.
It is suspense filled. Again, it's got a little bit of Robin Cook and a little bit of Stephen King in it. There's the
Yeah,
supernatural,
that's
and
the
then
suspense,
there's
all right.
and then there's the medical stuff, and each medical event. I mean, I can vouch for. It can really happen to patients in a hospital. The way that my characters are killed or injured, you'd be surprised at how close instruments of healing can be made into instruments of death and hurtfulness in a hospital. So it's uncomfortably realistic while still having some supernatural components in it.
Oh my goodness, this sounds scary.
Well, if it comes across right, it should make you feel worried about at least getting admitted to a hospital and
Yes,
being there
it
overnight,
does.
because you never know what's lurking where you can't see.
Well,
So
the very first time I had to go to the hospital for a surgery, I had the misfortune of reading all of the risks that go along with being put under anesthesia. And my worst fear was, and I think I actually watched a documentary probably a couple days before I went to the surgery. And it talked about a lady who appeared to be under, but she was wide awake, but nobody could see it because she looked like she was under. And so she had to go through this entire surgery screaming in pain, but they didn't stop because they thought that she was under. And that scared the mess out of me. I was like, oh, I don't want to go for this surgery now.
well, it's funny you should mention that, because that actually happens in my book.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because that is the most terrifying thing. And yes, that actually happens in my book. So you've just given away part of my plot, which is
I'm sorry.
no. It's not a spoiler, but yeah, um, it can definitely happen. When I was in the ICU, we purposefully would paralyze patients, but we also put them to sleep too, because there's nothing more terrifying than being awake and not being able to move.
Man, I just can't imagine. And I'm telling you, I think I was going for a normal surgery, but I was so afraid just because of that piece right there. But
Yeah, well,
everything went, thank God, everything went well.
and it usually does, but there are catastrophic cases like that. And like I said, I found it so horrifying that I put it in my book.
So, do you have a main character whom we should be following in the book?
Yeah, the main character is actually sort of patterned after me. He's a medical intern who is just fresh on the job, trying to find his way around. And his first patient he took care of died gruesomely and unexpectedly, and he was blamed for making a major error. Now, I
Mm.
wasn't. That didn't happen to me necessarily, but again, his insecurities are sort of patterned after my own insecurities when I first started medicine.
Yeah, and I'm sure that every doctor has that fear of maybe something like what we just talked about happening or losing a patient. Um, how do how does your character deal with that? How does he get past that?
He he investigates why the patient died, and he knew he didn't do what he was accused of. So instead of running for the hills or quitting, he actually looked into it and used a little bit of his medical knowledge, and then looked into it more, looked into the computers, and then had the help from a few other people. I also give dignity to a few elderly characters. I think they also deserve a little dignity. So one of them is an elderly transporter who had been in the hospital for years and had seen all the unseemly things happen. And another one was an old doctor who was accused of the very thing this main character was accused of. And so he had help from both of them, and he kept investigating until the supernatural part revealed itself to him, and then the story moves on from there.
Wow. And how long has the book been out?
The release date is not until October 16th, so it hasn't even been
Oh
released yet.
wow. This is a
It's on,
brand new
yeah,
book.
yeah, it's on pre-order, but the release date is October 16th, just a few weeks before Halloween.
Oh, well, that's a good time.
It is a good time, but it's been very exciting. I never thought that I'd get a book accepted for publication, and it's been an exciting time, and hopefully with more excitement to come.
And you said that the book is already ready for pre-orders?
Yes, it is. It can be pre-ordered on Amazon, Goodreads, BookBub, and the publisher's website. The publisher is Black Rose Writing.
Wow. So you said this is your first fiction book, and you were fortunate to find a publisher, which says a lot about you as a writer, I would think.
Well, it didn't. It came after many rejections and years
Well,
and
that's a
years
part of the business.
It is a part of the business. But what I did is I took each rejection, because a lot of the agents actually didn't just give a form rejection. They actually said, well, I don't like this and this and this. So I actually used each rejection as sort of a classroom learning event, and I revised it accordingly. And then I revised my pitches accordingly. And it finally paid off. But I listened to each rejection and took each rejection as education, not just as denial of my dream.
I love that. I mean, and I think that when we take the truth in what we see as a criticism and we apply it to ourselves, I do think good things can happen. I know sometimes it's easy to say, "Oh, they didn't accept me. I'm no good," or "They didn't accept me. They're not worthy of me." But you took the rejection and you actually turned it into an educational moment for yourself.
Well, that was probably after a few days of saying, "Oh, they don't like me, and I'll never get anywhere." But yeah,
Yeah.
you can't help but take it personally. But it's not. It's part of the process, and you can either, continue to be resentful, or you can incorporate it from people who know and just make it better and move on. And that's what finally paid off.
Absolutely. So you have a copy of the book. Can we see it?
It's called "Do Not Resuscitate."
That looks scary. What is that in the background? Is that like a spirit?
That is a spirit, and he's surrounded by a defibrillator. So it combines both the supernatural part as well as the medical part.
I love the fact that you already have advanced reading copies.
Well, my publisher wanted me to get started, and it is interesting, because once you get a book accepted for publication, that's just the start of the story. I've been immersed in an amazing amount of work, sometimes feeling overwhelming. So yeah, getting your dream is met just a little bit by getting it published. Then there's a whole nother world of promotions and websites and ads and everything else. So it's been an interesting journey so far.
Wow. So do you think you're on this journey to stay?
Well, I guess that's up to my audience, but I would like to think so. We'll see how many people want me to stay. If they want me to stay, I should say I've actually got another book accepted for publication as well with another publisher coming out in 2026. So, like it or not, I am here to stay at least for the next couple of years.
Well, congratulations. I mean, it seems like you're here to stay. I mean, I'll tell you, even if a book doesn't do as well as you thought it would do, there's a dopamine kick when it comes to writing. You're like, okay, the next book is going to be better. But those few people who read the book, they really liked it. So I'm going to give them something better the next time.
Well, you're absolutely right. Writing itself is a rush. Getting accepted for publication is an even bigger rush. Maybe if people like it, it'll even be a bigger rush, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's been a fun journey so far.
Awesome. So tell me, what are some of the lessons that you've learned in this process, being a first-time author?
Well, again, it's easy to say don't give up, but it comes with the territory. If you really want to get published, you are going to get rejected, and you're going to feel pretty crummy for the first couple days. But if you're like me and like most writers, there's still this irresistible urge just to keep writing. So you keep writing, you keep doing it. And the other thing I've learned is, everybody talks about sending out query letters. And, I don't believe in that myself. I think most query letters will wind up in the slush pile. I have had my greatest success with pitching, either in person, going to writers' conferences, or going to remote writing conferences where you can see the agent and see the editor face to face, talk to him or her. I think my own experience, that's the way to get closer to getting accepted, not just to send off 100 query letters and hope someone is having a good day who's reading it, but do a face-to-face interview and even go to writers' conferences where it's an in-person face-to-face. Honestly, I think that's the biggest lesson I can give people.
Well, I'll tell you, in the PR industry, we call it spray and pray. You just spray your manuscript out to everybody or your press release out to everybody, and then pray somebody accepts it.
Well, there is that.
I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. I'm just saying that's what people do.
and that is what I did for a while, but either I didn't hear back or got form rejections, but I got a lot better responses, again, with either face-to-face or remote face-to-face discussions with editors and agents. I picked up tips. They were more inclined to tell me what I should and shouldn't do. So yeah, you can spray and pray, you can, but I think also the personal touch goes a long way in the publishing world.
Oh, it absolutely does. And people want to feel special. I mean, it's I think of it as, and I know you never did this because you're a good guy, but the guys who would send 20 different women a good morning text, a good morning beautiful text. They never say her name, but they send a good morning text. And you know that it's a form. So like I said, I know you would never do that because you're probably a good guy.
Well, I try and be every day. I never did it, I promise you. No, you gotta watch out. Obviously, online, there's a lot of traps to fall into. But again, all the more reason for face-to-face, because you're dealing with the real thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, are you going to stick with writing medical drama?
Yes, I am for now. It's what I know, and as I said, it's fertile ground for thrillers and mysteries. But I will say I also like the supernatural, things we can't see, a belief in the beyond. So I like that too. So I'm going to try and keep pursuing both of those themes.
It kind of sounds like suspense, but in a way, it kind of sounds like fantasy fiction.
It is. It is. I guess whenever you talk about ghosts and lingering spirits and things you can't see, yeah, it's fantasy, but it's in the real world. It's not a dystopian world. It's in a real live hospital with real live medical facts. So yeah, I combine fantasy with the reality of the real world, which I think makes it even scarier.
So I know it's suspense filled, but your plots, do you kind of build them off of your own experiences then? I know you said your character is kind of based on you.
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, and I've had plenty of help with pacing and everything else. But I do want to say also that something that I think distinguishes this book from your standard medical thriller, medical mystery is, again, I give credence to the disabled and to patients and to the elderly by certain of my characters. I have disabled characters, I have elderly characters, and obviously a lot of patients. And I've tried to incorporate underneath between the lines my message of the need for their dignity. So again, it's a medical mystery, it's a supernatural mystery, but I've made sure to get across an underlying message supporting disabled patients and the elderly. And that was just all part of the process as well. And I hope people get that out of it as well as just it being entertaining.
And like I said, I really love that you've taken this platform. I mean, we can't speak enough for our disabled community as well as our elderly community. We need those voices.
Well, I'm going to keep writing about it in both my nonfiction and in my fiction. Again, it's not a lecture, but if you read between the lines, I give them their due. through my characters.
Wonderful. Now, I know much of your nonfiction writing is for writing articles and so forth for journals. Do you think you would ever do a full-length book, nonfiction? Maybe
You mean
just based on your experiences?
it's possible. I mean, I consider many of my experiences to be educational. I mean, a lot of doctors have already done that. I mean, I think my experiences separate me, but I'm a little biased. So at some point, I would like to. I've got 30 years of being an urban physician, a suburban physician, and a rural physician. So I've gotten a lot of interesting experiences from all of those arenas. So yeah, maybe.
And how about speaking? Do you ever do speaking engagements? Maybe discussing your platform on the road?
Actually, I've got some things lined up, and I
Awesome.
keep lining them up. So yeah, that's coming up.
Well, you might be retired from the medical profession, but it sounds like you're still a busy man.
I'll tell you that, like I said, be careful what you wish for. I'm a little busier now than I thought I'd ever be after retiring from the medical field. So yeah, suffice to say, writing and publishing and promoting is a full-time job in and of itself.
It
Enjoy it.
absolutely is. And people thought that writing the book was the hard part, but you're entering the hard part now.
That's exactly right. And yeah, that's another message I want to get across. That's exactly right. Writing it is not the hardest part, as I'm finding out.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I mean it's the promotion, it's increasing your platform. It's always talking about it because you can't go a day or two without talking about your book. You're going to miss something.
and yeah, I feel a little self-conscious doing it, but based on what people have said, based on what my publisher has said, yeah, you got to do it and step outside your comfort zone. That's what I'm trying to do. That's we're in this podcast, and I hope I've gotten my message out, as well as possible, and I'll keep trying to step outside my comfort zone to do it.
Well, I think you have gotten your message across, and I want to thank you for being on the Horizons Author Lounge tonight.
I want to thank you for having me. I've seen a lot of your work, and I'm very proud to be included in it, and I thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. So, can you show us the book one more time and then let us know where we can find it?
Sure. It's called Do Not Resuscitate. It's by Black Rose Writing. It's going to be released on October 16th. It can be found on any of the websites, Amazon, Goodreads, BookBub, and then Black Rose Writing has its own website. And then there's my website, scotteveloff.com, very simple. And you can look at my backstory, my son's backstory. You can see really what generated this book. And it's also very easy to order on my website as well.
Well, Dr. Scott, thank you once again for being on the show. I'm really looking forward to reading the book once it's released in October. In fact, I might even have to just go ahead and pre-order. Speaking of pre-order, is it only in paperback or is it also in ebook and audiobook form?
When it gets released, it will be in ebook form, and the audiobook I'm auditioning narrators for right now. So that hasn't been done, but that's something else I need to do. But so yeah, right now it's paperback. It will be in paperback and ebook. Again, release date is October 16th. And by the way, if you put in the code pre-order 2025, you'll get a little bit of a discount off if you want to pre-order it now.
Oh, we like discounts here at the Horizons Author Lounge. So
Well, take it to heart. You can pre-order 2025 is the code to put in. So that'll give you a
awesome.
discount.
All right. Well, once again, thank you for being on the show. You have a wonderful evening, and may God bless your book. Have lots of success.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda. I appreciate all the attention, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. That was Dr. Scott Eveloff. And I think I'm going to read this book, Do Not Resuscitate. It sounds like a bit of a bit of a suspense-filled book, but I'm reading a really good suspense-filled book right now that I'll tell you about once I'm done with it. But these are the types of books I like, something that just kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat and makes you not want to stop until you get to the end of the chapter. And then you get to the end of the chapter and then you have to keep on going because it was just that good and you have to see what's going to happen next. That's what I love about a good book. So, with all of that being said, if you are an author out there and maybe you're a person who you don't want to hire a publicist, maybe you want to have you want to handle your own publicity. Nothing wrong with that. I want to be able to help you to do that. So I want to tell you about my new book. It's called the Book and Buzzin' workbook. It's a publicity toolkit just for people like you, people who want to handle your own publicity, but maybe you don't know how to do it. You want to write your own press release. You want to be able to pitch media, but maybe you just don't know how to do it. This book, this toolkit is filled with templates for press releases and media pitches. It's filled with examples. I even put in there a media list of 20 media who are looking to tell stories like yours. So what I want you to do is click the link. It is in the chat right now. Team, it's in my Beacon store. Just look for Booked and Buzzing. It's only $50. You're gonna pay a publicist at least 4 figures. I'm giving all of this to you, the keys to the kingdom, for only $50. So I want to hear your mouth. This is this is a very good price. So go ahead and click this link. Find out more about how you can take your publicity and put it into your own hands. So go ahead, click that link. I want to see lots of messages telling me all these people have decided to take their publicity in their own hands and they want to do it right. So without any further ado, I'm going to move to our next guest. This particular guest, like I said, we've been following each other for a while on social media. So we've known each other. And he's doing some amazing things in the literary space, especially for children's books. So I want you to meet Darryl Harvey. I got to meet him for the first time in person in Indiana. We were sitting right next to each other. And I was like, wait a minute, I know you. I was like, it's Rhonda, it's me. And so we finally got to talk, and now I finally have him on my show. So welcome, 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 Mr. Darryl.
Hey, good evening, Rhonda. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Okay, I see you flexing with your degrees in the background too.
Hey, I'm in my office. I got to put them somewhere, right?
Right. So how's everything going tonight?
I'm in Chicago, and we are experiencing a thunderstorm tonight. But other than that, everything is just great.
Oh my goodness. So it's thunderstorming there?
Yes.
Okay, so it's raining here, but it hasn't quite thunderstormed yet. So I guess we're having some similar weather. Similar, not exactly the same.
Right. Well, it's got to do it sometimes. So.
Yeah, and at least you're dry.
Yeah. But we will make it through.
Amen. So, like I said, I've been excited about having you on the show, and I've been really wanting to have you on the show for a while because of everything that you're doing in the children's book space. So, but before we jump into that, can you introduce yourself to the audience and let the people know who you are?
Sure. My name is Darryl Harvey. I am a 11-time children's author, a 6-time poet, published poet, and director of the Black Child Book Fair and founder of the Chicago Black Authors Network.
Yeah, so you are a busy person.
I do a couple things.
So let's jump first of all into the Black Children's Book Fair. What is that exactly?
So I published my first children's book roughly around 2010. It's hard for me to believe it's been that long, but about 2010. And
Wow.
As that first book, people really liked it, and that motivated me to continue to write books for children. My first love was poetry, but I got into writing books for children because I was working in social services, and I saw the need for children to have more representation, Black children to have more representation. So after a few years of writing children's books, and then I really got into going out to different book fairs and selling my books. Well, after I had a few children's books and I'd been to quite a few book fairs, I kept hearing the same thing when parents would purchase my books. And it would be, it's so hard for me to find books with Black characters in them. And I was like, man, I've heard that in different cities, and I've been hearing that for a couple of years. The idea came to me, well, what would happen if I did a book fair or hosted a book fair focused on Black children's literature? And so 2019, I did the first one here in Chicago, and it was really a success. And after doing that, I sat back and reflected and thought that, hey, Chicago isn't the only city that has Black parents looking for books for Black children. And so year by year, I increased the number of cities that I took the event to. And now this year, I guess that's however many years later, started in 2019, this is 2025. I believe by year's end, we will have attended somewhere around 15 cities this year.
What? You actually physically go to the cities. This isn't like a virtual type thing.
No, this is live and in color, in person, in that city.
Wow. So how does it work? Is it kind of just a regular book where you have the authors come out and they and then the people come out and they can sign, and the authors get to sign books for them?
Exactly like that.
Okay.
A traditional, if you will, a traditional book fair. What happens is I have a website, and authors can go to the website and register for which city that they choose to come to.
Mm-hmm.
And I find a venue in these particular cities. And of course, everything else that goes along with it, the marketing and advertising and reaching out to the public in whatever city that is. And we put on a book fair.
That seems like because it's tough enough when you do a book fair in one city every year, but the fact that you go to multiple cities, are these cities that you already have relationships with, or do you feel that you're kind of almost starting over with each city you visit? Or how do you choose the cities?
Man, let me tell you. So at this point, there are some cities that we are now an annual event. Memphis, Atlanta, Dallas, of course, here in Chicago. These are all annual events. But in order for a city to have an annual event, there has to be that first time. And so we debut in other cities every year. And for me, it is the hope and prayer that I have reached enough people to make it worthwhile for the authors to come out.
Yes.
So, for instance, earlier this year, we debuted in Oakland, and we debuted in Cincinnati, and we had some really good, I think, really good successes in both cities. In just a couple of weeks, we will be debuting in Montgomery, Alabama, and so
I was
far
just
things
about to ask you about that.
say what?
So I was just about to ask you about Montgomery.
Yeah. So we will be debuting at I think their regional library, and really looking forward to that. I've always wanted to visit Montgomery, so looking forward to that. But yeah, bringing some authors there, and already the word is out. So fingers crossed. Hey, we're gonna have a good event.
Well, I'm wishing you all the best for that. Now, how often a year do you think you do the festival? Because you do it in multiple cities per year.
How often do we do an event?
No, how often do you do more than one book fair per year, or is it just every year a different city?
No, it's multiple per year.
That's what I'm saying. So how many do
Yeah.
you think you do per year?
I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 15.
Wow, so that's a lot of traveling.
That's a lot of. You can say that again. I kind of do like probably somewhere around 6 or 7 in the beginning of the year, and another 6 or 7 in the last months of the year. And then we start it all over.
And so now you're doing all of this, and then you also have the Chicago Collective that you do as well.
Well, I founded several years ago when I was just starting my writing career, a group called the Chicago Black Authors Network. And what that was after I published my first book, which was a book of poetry, I was realizing that, I wrote a book of poetry. Okay, so where do we go from there? And I had no answers, and I had no mentors, and I kind of fumbled through everything by myself.
Mm.
And I was like, I know that I am not the only person that's probably going to go through something like this. And there should be a group, or there should be something that should be able to help people or new authors through to success.
Yes.
And so Chicago is a very large city, and there's people writing books in Chicago, publishing books all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like I know 3 sets of authors in Chicago, and I'm not sure if everybody even knows each other. I mean, there are, I think see, I'm from New Orleans, so I'm saying we from the South, even though I live in the DC area. But I think sometimes we forget that there's a huge writing community in other parts of the country.
Right. So, and I was correct about that assumption that there were so many authors or people writing books here, but they weren't organized. So I took the time to reach out to other authors and form a group, and we got together and helped each other learn different things about publishing and marketing, editing, and the whole shebang, and going out to different events, and what events to go to and what events to stay away from. All of that is important when you're trying to maximize what you have and be successful in this industry.
Well, that's wonderful. And, because there's so many things. There are a lot of author award programs that you can keep each other informed on. There's so many changes in the industry right now. There's a big conversation over AI and children's books. No, should a children's book be generated or should the illustrations be generated by AI, or should the stories, whether it's a children's book or an adult book, should the stories be generated by AI? I had a podcaster ask me, I think it was a week ago, actually. Believe it or not, it was a week ago, and he asked me, should a book that was generated with AI be allowed to enter book contests? And I told him, if authors who are writing their own books are afraid of being beaten by an AI generated book, they might have to step up their game.
Yeah, man, the computer age is really taking over our lives, so to speak. I mean, just about everybody I know is probably a slave to their phone.
Yeah.
And their laptops, and can't go, and the children are even worse, can't go minutes without being online, or scrolling or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably, I wouldn't be surprised if there are people trying to write stories with AI.
It's not going to be the same. It's not going to have, I don't think it's going to have the same emotion. It's not going to have that same human element to it. So, I mean, even if you're using it as an assistant, which is what I encourage people to do, is use it as an assistant. If you want to get your characters together, maybe work on your plot lines or do some research, whatever it is. But when you let it totally write for you, I think you lose a human element of it.
I would agree with that. And kind of, I'm glad that I do write poetry as well, because that allows more so that human element and that emotion um, that you're talking about. But in children's literature, I agree. Again, we can't allow ourselves to become lazy mentally. We can't allow ourselves to become lazy creatively.
Yes.
Yeah, I thoroughly believe in doing your own work, and getting your own point across through authentic means.
I agree. I agree. So, are these some of the subjects that you discuss in the collective? I keep calling it the collective. That's what I think of it as. Is your Black Authors collective.
Um, yeah, I think most of the people that are involved with the Chicago Black Authors Network uh, have written their own and done their own work.
Mhm.
So I totally believe that.
Oh, I'm quite sure they have. I'm just wondering, is it one of the things that you discuss, and then how you can work with it? Because I don't think that AI is going away, but we can fight against it. It'll be a losing battle, or we can learn how to work with it. I'm just wondering if that's some of the things that you all discuss on how you can work with it, or still be successful despite it, so to speak.
That conversation is coming. That conversation is coming. We will
Yes.
be together. Actually, the Chicago Black Authors Network takes part in a very big book fair that's coming up in Chicago soon, and that'll be part of our discussion as well.
I might have to come up to Chicago and see what y'all talking about up there, because y'all have it going on up there.
There, man, Chicago is a huge city, and it has book fairs all the time. It's just different groups that are doing different book fairs. The one that's coming up is the largest outdoor book fair in the city, and that thing is called Printers Row. Has
Oh, okay.
thousands of attendees every year.
Wow.
Thousands. It is a huge event.
And is it only for Chicago authors, or other authors from around the country come out as well?
I believe you can if you register early enough, anybody can come.
I might have to come up there and see what y'all talking about.
Well, let me know if you want to. Let me know, and I'll make sure that you do it the right way, because there's a right way and a wrong way.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's the wrong way?
Okay, so again, this is the largest event, the largest outdoor book fair in Chicago. Now you think about that, Chicago's a huge city. We are outside covering, I think, maybe 2 city blocks of the city that are shut down for this event.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they have are massive tents that they put maybe 16 people under, right? Now that's the right way to do it.
Right.
Come with a group, get a space under the tent. The wrong way to do it, which I see people doing, and I try to help them out and tell them you're doing it wrong, is to purchase a table, not a table on the sidewalk.
In other words, trying to do it by themselves.
Trying to do it by themselves without any covering. So if it rains or if it's 95 degrees, or in Chicago, it could even snow. We've had it all. There ain't no telling what it'll do. You can, yeah, you're out there alone with no covering. Not the move. Plus, that method is more expensive than if you would have gone in with a group to go and get a tent.
Right.
Yeah, and it's expensive. I think someone told me it was somewhere between $300 and $400 for a table on the sidewalk.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, this event does have traffic. However, that's too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh well. I'm gonna keep that in mind. Now, tell me this: if I wanted to be a part of the network, is your network only for Chicago authors?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
think we would make an exception if you happen to know somebody who could make an exception for you.
Well, I know you.
Right.
Well, because I say it all the time that being an author can be a very solitary activity. You spend a lot of time writing your book. You spend a lot of time promoting your book. You're by yourself quite a bit. So it's very important to have networks where you can bounce ideas off of other people, maybe talking with people who understand what you're going through. Or like I was saying earlier, maybe some people know some opportunities like book fairs that are coming up or awards programs. You need that network. Just or get 10 of your friends to say congratulations on so and so's new book. That opens it up to a new audience.
Yes, it does, and I agree with you. I think a lot of people publish a book. They've written a book, they published it, and then they don't really reach out or see who else is out there.
Right.
They know things that would help them, and
Mm-hmm.
and that was the whole purpose of me forming the Chicago Black Authors Network. And again, the purpose, or one of the purposes, of doing the Black Child Book Fair, because it would not work if it was just Darryl Harvey by himself.
Right.
It has to be a book fair where there are multiple authors with different ideas and different age levels and creative things for boys and for girls, teenagers, etc., elementary, all of that. It wouldn't work if it was just me. So I had to reach out and tell other authors, hey, I am doing this and I want you to come too. So you can get some benefits from this as well. So the Black Child Book Fair is a double-edged sword where it helps inspire Black children to read, but also on the flip side, it helps independent authors get their works out to the public.
Absolutely. So now we only have a few minutes left. Can you let me know, how does an author who might be watching tonight, they might be a children's book author, how do they get involved with the Black Child Book Fair? Are they still able to sign up for your upcoming event?
Yes. So what they need to do is go to the website, blackchildbookfair.com, and there is a tab on their website that says events. And on that events tab, there's the vendor form, but there's also the calendar that tells you the dates, where we're going, and the cities. So you fill out the vendor form, make sure you read the vendor form. So many people, I'm beginning to think just about everybody does not read the vendor form. They put all the information is there, everything that you need to know. All you got to do is read the thing. But I think they just sign it and send a vendor fee, and then
They're just happy to be there.
and then they're asking me all the questions that are on the vendor form. All the answers are there.
Well, they're just excited to be there, Darryl. You can't blame them for that.
Well, I'm excited too, so I guess you're right.
Now, and then how can people be a part of the Black Author Network?
So, to be a part of that, send me an email to Darryl Harvey. My name is right up there, Darryl Harvey Author at yahoo.com. And I will give you the information for that.
Wonderful. And then how can we connect with you on social media?
I have a Instagram, which is Black Child Book Fair. I have also have on Facebook a Black Child Book Fair page, and also I have another Facebook page, which is Darryl Harvey Author. Let me see, is there anywhere else? Instagram, Facebook. I'm not on Twitter, or X as it is now called. So those are the best methods to get in touch with me.
All right. Well, we will definitely be staying in touch. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for finally being on my show. If you'd ever like to come back, or if you know some authors who would have a good time on the show, send them over to me.
For sure.
All right. Well, thanks once again. I appreciate you. And I love what you're doing. I'm a huge fan. And you have my support. You just let me know how I can support.
Yes, ma'am. And the same for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. You have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. That does it. That's another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. We're good for this week. So I hope everybody had a good time. Hope you learned something. Hope you were inspired by these two great authors who are doing a lot of things, and I'm really proud of both of them. So, and I'm proud of you guys for continuing to support the Horizons Author Lounge. If you have not yet subscribed to us on YouTube, what are you waiting for? I'm from New Orleans. There used to be this commercial when a man was wearing his powder blue suit, and it was a Rubenstein's commercial. And he'd go to Rubenstein's and get some style. And then at the end of the commercial, they go, "What are you waiting for?" So that's where I get that from. So if you have not followed the YouTube page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, please click the link. It is in the chat right now. Click the link, subscribe to us. We are just about there. We're just a stone's throw away from hitting our first 1,000 followers. And I want you all to be a part of it. In fact, I think I might even celebrate the 1,000th follower. Yeah, I think we're going to do something like that. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but we're going to celebrate the 1,000th follower. And it could be you, depending on how many people subscribe right now. So y'all go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel right at this moment. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of the show. I know we started 30 minutes late. I'm in the DMV, y'all. It happens. Sometimes things happen in the DMV, especially in the DMV when it's raining. But you guys kicked it with me for an hour, even though it was 30 minutes late, and I appreciate that. And I love you guys. So I want you guys to have a wonderful week. Have a blessed week. If you're so inclined, meet me right back here on Facebook tomorrow night for the National Black Book Fair Festival's Black Authors Matter TV, which airs from 8 to 10 Eastern Time. And we're going to be interviewing 4 authors, and you don't want to miss it because we have a lot of great things happening. And then join me next week. Next week, I will be making the official announcement about the authors who are going to be featured in the 2026 Black History Month Literary Weekend. It will be our 10th year, y'all, and we're doing some amazing things. We're taking it back to New Orleans. And so y'all don't want to miss this. If you're in the New Orleans area, come out. If you're close to the New Orleans area, come out. If you're not close to the New Orleans area, but you've always wanted to go to New Orleans, this is the time to fly in and be a part of the event. We want to see you there. So catch me next week, where I'm going to be doing the official announcement for the authors who are going to be featured. And then also join me on Amazon Wednesday night. I will be interviewing Malika J. Stevely, who was the first place winner of the Meet the World Image Solutions for the Culture Book Awards. And so we're going to be interviewing her about her book on Amazon Live. And I don't want you guys to miss that either. We're going to have a great time, and hopefully we're going to sell a lot of her books that night. So we want to see you guys there. So yeah, there's a lot going on. And if you're interested in the For the Culture Book Awards, submissions open September 1st. So stay tuned. More information to follow. So that's all I have for tonight. Don't forget to get your copy of the Booked and Buzzin' Publicity Toolkit. I'm telling you, there's some great information in there, and I want you guys to have it. But that's all I have for tonight. I ain't telling y'all nothing else. You're going to have to catch me tomorrow night, and then catch me again on Wednesday, and then catch me again on Monday. All right, guys. God bless you. Good night. Have a wonderful evening, and keep reading. Bye-bye.